glad you're here to join me. So we're gonna start in child's pose. Today's class is also all about shoulders, and if you'd like the playlist, go to Spotify and find my Facebook Live yoga class for shoulders. It's 50 minutes long and I'll go right with class. All right, to our mats, here we go. Starting in child's pose, your toes can be touching, your knees can be touching or as wide as your mat or anywhere in between, whatever feels good. So let your hips sink low towards your heels and walk your hands out nice and long on your mat. Allow your chest and forehead to collapse forward and take a nice deep breath. Okay. Start to walk your palms together, flipping your palms over. We'll take our first gentle shoulder stretch today, drawing your hands up over your head towards your back or your neck, allowing them to come down. And then maybe you walk your shoulders out a little farther and then sink your chest down towards the mat, giving the outside edge, kind of your armpit actually, a nice stretch here. And unfold your arms, flipping your palms, and start to walk up into a tabletop position, bringing your knees up underneath your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. Inhale into your cow stretch. Exhale into cat. There goes your good. Inhale, cat. Excuse me, cow. Exhale, cat. And coming back to center. Plant your left hand a little bit farther forward. Take your right arm and slide it under your left armpit, bringing your shoulder and your head to the mat. You can rest your head down wherever it lays, on your temple or your cheek, it doesn't matter. And just slowly start to press into that right shoulder. So your left hand is going to give you leverage to press it open. And if you'd like, you can even extend your left foot to the back of your mat. That will help your hips and chest open up even farther. The main goal here is just to press into that shoulder. You're really going to feel it around your shoulder blade area, maybe even in that tissue between your shoulder blade and spine. So it's not really stretching the shoulder head as much as it is your shoulder blade and your back muscles that support your shoulder. And slowly drop everything back into center. Maybe taking a gentle child's pose to reset. And coming back to tabletop. Take your left hand underneath your right armpit, walking your left hand forward maybe just a little bit. It can stay close, it can go long, whatever feels good. The whole point is to let your body support this shoulder stretch. So this is definitely not one that you're going to see people taking pictures of and posting on Instagram. But embrace the funky. Embrace that this might feel a little weird and awkward. As long as there's no pain or discomfort, of course, continue stretching that shoulder blade. And draw your knees in, coming up. One more child's pose, sink low. Inhale as you come forward. We'll sink onto your hip and swing your legs around. While you're seated here, take a few shoulder rolls back and then forward. And then take some head rolls. Let your head just rock from shoulder to shoulder, just opening everything up. And coming back to center. Here, seated on your mat, you can hold your legs or reach your arms long. Rolling onto your back, squeeze your knees into your chest. We'll go into a little bit of core work to get things started today. So planting your feet on the mat, interlace your hands behind your head. Inhale as you fill up. Exhale, lift. Twist to the right. You can even take your left arm to your right leg. Twist back to center and inhale, release. Exhale, lift, twist left, center, and down. Exhale, lifts, twist, center, inhale as you release. The whole goal here, keep going to the left, is to get your shoulder blades off the mat. So you just want to lift so far that your shoulder blades, again, are free from the mat. And even elbows are coming forward, that's okay. You're not tugging on your neck at all. It's all gentle. We'll do a few more sets of those. If you'd like to intensify it, draw your knees, your shins parallel to the ceiling, and then take a second to tuck your tailbone. That may require you to draw your feet in a little further. That's okay. They may be able to extend. The farther out there, the harder this is. The farther in, the easier it is. So you find your level of intensity. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, lifts, twist to the right, and inhale, release. Exhale, twist left. Really go as far into that twist as you want. This is getting your core and then your obliques. Core and relax. Core, obliques to the left, core, relax. One more each side. Up, twist, up, release, up, twist, up, release. Draw your knees into your chest, a few rocks. And then start to rock. Little rocks turn into big rocks as you come all the way up. If this feels good, you can take a few on your back. If it does not feel good, then just come up and stay there. And then we're gonna rock all the way over back onto our hands and knees. Reaching, curling your toes under, lift all the way up and back into your first downward facing dog. So I'm gonna take a second here to discuss your shoulder placement. It's so important in down dog, but we don't always get to talk about it. So here are a few things that you will see happening a lot in down dog. You may be experiencing them right now in your own body. So we're trying to reach our heels down to the mat. You can do that, but you don't have to. Your feet never have to touch the mat. So release that expectation, but if you are, a lot of times what that will do is draw your tailbone down with it. It'll scoop your belly, and then we'll try to flatten into our shoulders to get our chest back towards our legs. And this will be painful over time. It's not gonna help you. It's actually gonna put a lot of strain on your shoulders. So if you find yourself hyperextending into your shoulders, release that. Plug your shoulders into their sockets, and then try to zip your rib cage and your hips towards one another. That's just gonna help engage your core and keep your spine long. And then bend your knees so that will release your tailbone to reach towards the sky. So shoulders are plugged in. Sometimes we have to do it the wrong way and see what that feels like before we come out of it and notice what it really should look like. So you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing or what I look like in down dog. Have a friend or a spouse take a picture of you and see what you have going on. Maybe even video yourself if you'd like, and then you can make adjustments accordingly. So hopefully that helps. Gaze at your fingertips, step or walk your feet all the way to your hands, scoop your belly as you do so. That's an opportunity to engage your core. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, coming to standing. Exhale your hands to a T and curl your wrists under as far as you can. We're gonna do some arm circles here, and you can simultaneously, you can just stand and relax, or you can take some heel raises, or you can balance. So whatever is going to feel fun or serve you or challenge you today, go ahead and do it. You're doing the tightest, smallest little circles. Feel those muscles working from your fingertips all the way through your elbow, your bicep, your shoulder, all the way down your back, and reverse. And maybe you want to do something a little different with your feet while you're reversing. You have the autonomy to do that. This is your practice. I am only here to guide you. Good. And release your heels down if they were up. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Feels good to get those arms fired up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step or back, jump back to your plank. Taking a second to really find a nice sturdy plank here. Squeeze your belly in, squeeze your legs together, and then lower down to your belly. But as you do so, see if you can, I'm gonna come to my knees for a second. See if you can get your hips and your shoulders to lower at the same time. So think of literally a plank board lowering down, could not physically lower like this. And while that's kind of fun and brings back memories of doing the worm at middle school dances, we want to try to engage our core and keep our arms nice and strong the whole time. So lower down, see if you can get hips and shoulders to meet the floor together. That should feel good. Roll your toes under so that they're pressing, your toes are pressing against the mat. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and inhale into a baby cobra. Exhale, lower, two more times. Inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Exhale, inhale, up, back, and down. Exhale. Now we're going to come into another really yummy shoulder stretch. So extend that arm, that right arm out to the side. The lower it is, the easier the stretch will be. The higher it is, the more intense it will be. So start here, see how you feel, and you can adjust later. Start to roll onto your right side with that arm out. If you get any really intense, sharp sensations, come out of it. But if your shoulder feels good, and this is stretching as it should, you can keep gently pressing with that left arm. You maybe want to come to fingertips to make sure you're not pressing too hard. And if you'd like, that left leg can come up and back. Toes can touch, or maybe your heel touches. That will help open up your low body, your hips, your shoulders, kind of almost twisting your body as you're deepening into the shoulder stretch. And breathe. I remember the first time I taught this pose to my husband, he was like, "Where has this stretch been my whole life?" He loved it, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. Slowly roll back onto your belly. We'll bring our hands in beside our chest, take a gentle cobra to kind of reset back to center. I always like to reset if I can before I go on to the other side. Extend that left hand out by your shoulder and roll up onto your side. Again, you may wiggle your arm higher or lower. You can plant this hand. You can lift your head. You can lower your head. Probably better to relax your head. But again, you want this to feel good for you and your body. And even though we're all humans, we're all created very differently. So this may feel very different for all of us. But this should be giving us a stretch in the shoulder head. So you can feel free to wiggle and move that hand around your body around as much as you need to. You can also take this arm up and around for a partial bind, bring it to the small of your back and opening your shoulders. And then slowly roll back onto your belly. And we'll press back up through our plank, so that can be on your knees. And then curl your toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Gaze up at your fingertips, step or jump your feet to your hands. Bring your toes to touch. Coming into a chair pose. We'll sink our hips low, draw your hands high, and sink deep. Again, make sure you can see your toes. If your knees are covering them, scoot them back. That will help seat the weight into your hips. Exhale your hands down to prayer. We'll take a twist on both sides. So reach your hands up and over to the right. Your left elbow will come into contact with the outside of your right knee, kind of thigh area. And then press your hands into one another as you open up into your twist. You can gaze all the way up at the sky, straight ahead of you, or down at your toes. And gazing at your toes will help your balance. So if you feel like you're wobbling here, I would definitely suggest that. Make sure that left knee is not creeping ahead of your right. You want to keep them nice and even. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right elbow over left thigh. Again, if you need a break and this is already becoming too intense, you just take it. I'm no drill sergeant. I won't jump through the phone and come yell at you in your living room. But maybe you feel up to the challenge and you can stay nice and low in this chair pose the whole time, pressing into those arms, opening up into a nice deep stretch. Nice twist here. Inhale back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Nice release there in the thighs and glutes. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back to your plank. And then you can just lift right on up to your downward facing dog. Bringing your toes to touch. Moving into our warrior series, lift your right heel into the sky. Squeeze your knee into your chest as you swing it all the way through to the front of your mat. Take a second here to scissor your legs. That means you're squaring up your hips, you're drawing your thighs into one another. Come up on your fingertips. We're not just dumping our weight into this. We're meticulously lifting all of our energy up out of our legs and up through our fingertips. Good. Now we'll take some pulses here. Open your arms and draw your shoulder blades together. So you're really opening wide. Tap that knee down to the ground or just gently hover. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, lift. Engage your arms. Try to see if you can activate every single little muscle from your fingertips into your shoulders. One more time, sink low, and as you lift, we're going to launch onto that front leg. So launch, coming into our warrior three, kind of a moving warrior three. You can bring your hands to prayer, so we won't actually stay here. As you come up, see if you can flex your left foot and swing it through, gently taking this left leg over your right. We're going to move into eagle posture. I am already out of breath. I hope you are too with me. So if you're new to eagle or you're a little tired already, you can just stay in an upright kind of position, gentle bend in the knee, and plug that toe into the mat. If you want to go into full eagle, squeeze your thighs together like you really have to go to the bathroom. Take that toe off the mat to challenge your balance. And then take your left arm underneath your right, and you can squeeze shoulders or bring your palms to touch in full eagle arms and hover here. You can inhale as you lift up, your fingertips up. Exhale, sink your shoulders down. You'll immediately feel the stretch intensify. So it's so challenging about this posture is its balance, its intense strength, and quite intense stretch. So take it at whatever level is going to serve you. One more inhale. Exhale the shoulders down away from your ears. On your inhale, unfold and see if you'd like to challenge yourself by stepping. Float that foot to the back of your mat and come back into crescent lunge where we started. Opening up warrior two. Reaching forward, coming into a side angle. You can keep that elbow on your knee for support if you'd like. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands all the way down. Finding your plank. You can either keep your knees up or knees into the mat. We'll come into our first chaturanga. So lowering down again, chest and shoulders all at the same time. Squeezing your elbows into your chest, thinking biceps, biceps, biceps. We don't really want to overengage our shoulders here. Lifting up into cobra or upward facing dog of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 cleansing breaths here. Bring your toes to touch. Float your left leg into the sky. Squeeze that knee into your chest. Engage your core and plant your foot at the top of your mat. Again, coming up on your fingertips, start to really lift the energy out of your feet. Draw it all the way up to the sky. Finding your full crescent lunge. Sinking your arms into their goalposts. Sink your knee towards the mat. Inhale, lift. These are super strong and fluid. Again, you can do this with very minimal effort, or you can really engage, open your heart and shoulders. One more time. Sink low, launch into your warrior three, up, hinge towards the mat, lifting your heel towards the sky, and then reverse that pendulum, your right leg through, lifting your right leg up and over your left. Again, you can use that right toe as a kickstand. That will really help alleviate the intensity of this posture and allow you to balance a little easier. But you can sink your hips low, take that foot off the mat, take your right arm under your left. And again, you can interlace here, really squeezing in for a nice shoulder stretch, or open up your hands and palms into eagle. Full eagle posture here. Inhale, lifts your fingertips. Exhale, sinks your shoulders down. Maybe your hips go lower. Slowly start to unwind and see if you can challenge your balance and your strength. Send that right foot all the way to the back of your mat and set it down gently. Coming back to our crescent lunge, open up to warrior two. Reaching forward, coming into our side angle. You can reach that arm up. You always have the option to reach it all the way extended side angle, your choice. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands all the way down again, finding your plank. I said this briefly before, but before you go into your chaturanga, Think triceps, not shoulders. You don't want to dump the weight into your shoulders here. You want to squeeze those elbows into your chest. Triceps, triceps, triceps. Take your chaturanga and then lift back up, upward facing dog. Meaning in downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Now to have some fun and stitch it all together. Gaze at the top of your mat. Step or hop your feet into your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaches all the way up to standing. Exhale into chair, prayer arms. Lift up, left elbow to right knee coming into your twist. Shift the weight into your right foot. Start to hover the left. See, if we did not do this, this is us stitching it together. So this is the first time in this class, but see if you can send that left foot to the back of your mat so you can land softly in your twisted crescent lunge. Awesome. Inhale all the way to your crescent lunge and take our pulses. Exhale down, inhale up. Down and up. Taking a little more speed, not necessarily going with the breath here, and that's okay. Sometimes we can do that. Exhale down, inhale, launch all the way up. Warrior 3. You can bring your hands to prayer, swing that leg through, up and over into your eagle pose. Take your right hand underneath. And I'll just wrap shoulders this time. That'll be a nice break. Slowly unwind. See if you can come. Maybe you go straight to your warrior 2 and see how that feels. Opening all the way up. Bringing your weight forward, come into your side angle. Maybe this time you make an extended side angle. And inhale, reverse your warrior. Cartwheel your hands all the way down to the mat. Finding your plank. Taking your chaturanga. Triceps, triceps, triceps. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. 3 cleansing breaths. You can always choose to take these breaths in child's pose. Gaze at the top of your mat, step or hop your feet into your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up to the sky. Exhale, sink into your chair pose. Reach up and over to the left, finding your twist the opposite direction. Your feet can be touching here or hip width apart. We did touching to begin with. Now my feet are naturally hip width. Both are perfectly fine in chair pose. Now gaze at your toes and see if you can bring the weight to your left foot as you gently try to send, and you can tiptoe your foot back too. That's always an option. Maybe you try to float it. That right foot all the way to the back of your mat, coming into your twisted lunge. Inhale all the way up to crescent. Maybe you open straight up into your warrior 2. Sending your weight forward, come into your side angle. Maybe this time you extend it because it feels good. We skipped something, didn't we? Go ahead and reverse your warrior. And then come back to warrior 2. Thinking, wait a second, that went by really fast. Come back into your crescent lunge, and we'll just kind of stitch this together a new way. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, reach. Life is imperfect, is it not? Inhale, reach. Exhale, last one, sink. This time, launch forward. And swing that leg through, coming into eagle. Take your right foot, your right leg over your left. Open up your arms, right arm comes underneath. And you can take eagle or wrap shoulders. Ooh, nice pop there. My shoulders are feeling it. into your lunge. We've already done our warrior two, so let's just head straight to our plank. Same poses, different order. Take your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll all take a gentle child's pose. So you can stay in down dog if you're feeling really great and just want to take a few deep breaths there. Otherwise, just settle into your child's pose. Grab a sip of water. I'm going to do the same. Enjoy that child's pose. Sink deep. Good. Okay. I'm all thrown off with time since we started 25 minutes late, but I think I got it. Good. Now we're going to come into, I love how my friend Claire calls it the peak posture of the class. I think that's a great way to think about it because we've been building towards it this whole time. You just didn't know it. Yogi teacher secret. So if you have a block and you'd like to use it, we're going to move into dolphin, which then can graduate into forearm stand. That is a very advanced, very intense posture, and I'm not going to pretend to be able to teach you from scratch, but we're definitely going to move into dolphin, which is going to start building that strength and building that flexibility in our shoulders and building that inversion status. And then you can play around with the lifts, and after class, if you'd like, you can always move your mat up to a wall and practice with the kick-ups, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see in just a minute. So just know that you can always play with this as much as you want right now. You can always pause me in just a minute and play with it, or at the end of class, play around with it too. It's definitely one of those postures that can take a very, very, very long time to keep working on consistently until it really happens. So if you have a block and you'd like to use it, I think this is a great spacer and kind of engager, if I can describe it that way for this posture. You would bring your hands, you still want your hands to be firmly planted in the mat, but you can bring your hands around it. If you don't have a block, I can't honestly say there's gonna be a great substitute for this, unless you had like a small Amazon box that was about this size, but otherwise just you'll plant your hands firmly on the mat. The main thing I want you to think about is when you're looking down at your hands, here in just a second, you'll squeeze your elbows in. We really want our elbows to be parallel with our arms. When this starts happening, this starts happening, and that's when you face plant. So we want to bring those elbows in, shift our weight away from our forearms as much as possible. I'll show you this angle too. So when you bring your elbows in, you're pushing away. When we do this, we come closer. So that's just a few notes on alignment. So we'll plant that on the mat. Again, if you don't have it, another great way is if you don't have a block and you're like, I don't know how far apart my arms should be. It's really important for this posture. So do your little I Dream of Jeannie arms, and then open up one arm, plant it down on your mat, open up your other arm, and that's exactly where you want to be. So you can do that here, ding, open one arm, open the other arm. My block's already there. You may even wiggle those arms in a little bit because your elbow skin is quite pliable, which I know sounds really weird, but that's where we're at. So you'll kind of start on, I'm almost in the child's pose position, or you can be on all fours, it doesn't matter. Eventually you will come onto all fours, really plant the weight into your hands, not just your elbows. That will help you press out of your shoulders. Now curl your toes under and press your hips up. Whoa, that's really intense, really, really fast. Know that you can come out of this at any time. But if you're with me, you can keep your head underneath, kind of in like down dog style, ears between biceps, or you can look at the mat in front of you. I find this to be a little easier, helps me really press into my shoulders. And then inhale as you walk your feet in, exhale, hold. Inhale, walk your feet in a little bit. Exhale, hold. Inhale, walk a little higher. Exhale, release. Okay, shake it out. Whoa, that is a good one. That is really intense. Once upon a time in my life, I was excellent at this, and I had a great forearm stand, and I could do it without wall support, and it was super fun. Here I am a few years later, and one beautiful baby later, and my core is still rebuilding, my shoulder strength is still building, my shoulder flexibility. So don't give yourself a hard time. This is, again, one of those really tricky ones, and it looks very easy and very beautiful, and it's very difficult. So I just want you to give yourself a lot of grace. If you're working towards forearm stand, keep doing that dolphin over and over and over again. It will build incredible strength. But we're all going to go into it one more time, and then we'll practice with like little baby hops just for some fun. So press in to those toes, lift your knees off the mat, and start walking in. The point of walking in is to get our hips up over our shoulders. If you're way out here, it's going to be really hard to hop anywhere. If your hips are already over your shoulders, maybe you lift one leg into the air and just see how that feels. If it's okay, you can start to launch one foot off the mat. I like to gaze at the mat because it helps me see where it's at and helps me avoid collapsing into it. If we tuck our head, the instinct a lot of times is to lower to the top of your head, which isn't a terrible thing, but you just want to be careful that your neck is ready for that pressure. And of course, forearm stand is not done with your head on the mat, so we're working away from that. Okay, that's really intense, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time there. So shake it out. If you want to pause me and keep playing, you can always do that. All right. Now, come back into your downward facing dog. If you have a block in your body, you may want to keep it. Send your right leg into the sky. Swing it all the way through, planting it, and bring your back foot in a step or two. Square off your hips. Start to straighten into that front leg, coming into pyramid stretch. So you can hold on to a block here. You want to shine your heart and gaze forward. Don't crane your neck in front of you, but just gaze kind of at your toes or maybe a little bit in front of them. Reaching your back and spine long. You want to just feel that stretch all the way up the back of your hamstring. And then if you don't have a block, you can be holding onto the mat, your shin, your thigh, if you're really working on your flexibility. And you can always gently bend this leg. Don't feel like it has to be perfectly straight. I'm going to come into a revolved pyramid here. This can feel really funky, so just see what happens. You can plant your left hand on the mat or on your ankle. This is a great time for a block. Left hand on the block. Right hand is going to peel all the way up and open. And then release. Bend into your front leg. Bring that block to the outside right side of your mat. Walk forward. Plant your right hand on the block and launch up into your half moons. Open up your heart and shoulders. Flex your back foot and reach your left arm high. Squaring back your hips. Relax your back foot down to your mat. And just come back to your downward facing dog. Take that left foot, draw it forward on your mat. Again, shallow stance. Square off your hip. Start to straighten that front leg coming into your pyramid stretch. David, my son, woke up from his nap, which really he should still be sleeping for a while, so don't even worry if you hear him fussing. He's totally fine. We'll come into our revolved pyramid stretch here. So plant your right hand on a block or the mat and start to peel your left arm up behind you. And then slowly lower down. Walking forward, you can plant your block or your palm at the left corner of your mat. Lift your right leg behind you. Bring your right hand to your hip. Open up your shoulders and hips coming into our half moon. And then slowly release, bringing that leg back down to the back of your mat, finding your downward facing dog. You can gaze up at your fingertips, hop your feet forward to seated, or you can just come down to your knees and rotate. And we're gonna come into one of my all-time favorite stretches for your back and shoulders if you have a block. If you don't, I'll show you another option. You can also do this with a pillow or a rolled up towel, something like that. But if you have a block, you'll place it on the medium side. And you will slowly start to lower so that your block is right between your shoulder blades. So you really want your block about right here. If you have another pillow or another block, that's a great secondary tool to have. So you'll lay back. If you have the other block, you'll put that behind your head for support, or a pillow. I guess I will play. And then just open up your arms. This may take a little wiggling, a little finagling. You can relax your legs down in front of you, or you can bring your feet to touch and open up in a butterfly. If you don't have any blocks, you can still enjoy this great butterfly stretch. Just allow your feet to open. You can open up your arms, reach your shoulders overhead, or bring hand to heart and belly. I do apologize. I am going to go put him back to sleep. It'll take 2 minutes. So release in this posture. Open up your heart, close your eyes, feel your breath, and try to take 10 slow, deep breaths. Okay, I'm back. So, in that reclined position, you have a block. Go ahead and release that block away from you. So you're coming to lay on your back. And bring your heels towards your bottom. We'll move into our bridge posture here. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale as you lift your hips up. You're pressing into your heels, lifting your hips, and then opening up your shoulders. This is a great exercise to take your hands underneath your back and find a bind so you can really open and press into your shoulders here. Release your bind and slowly roll down. We'll take a little rock to come back up again. So coming to butterfly just for placement, we won't stay here since you were just in this posture. And then stretch your right leg out, bringing your left leg to your thigh. So it is at an angle, it's not straight in front of you. Reach your arms all the way up. And exhale up and over that right leg. So you can hold onto your foot or your heel, reaching your arm all the way over, opening up your heart and chest, squeezing your belly button in. So you should be feeling a nice deep stretch all through your side body and through your leg. Sitting all the way up, turn your torso towards your leg, so your heart is towards your leg, and then fold forward over that leg. slowly come up. We'll switch. So bring your left foot in, your right foot in, your left foot goes out to the side. Inhale your arms all the way up. Exhale, collapse over that leg. Again, really opening up your heart and chest. And then coming up, turn your torso and your hips towards that leg now and fold over for one final hamstring stretch here. Release, planting your feet back on your mat. You can slowly roll all the way down. Opening your arms to the side, we'll take our twists. So with your feet planted, let your knees collapse all the way to the right. And then if you'd like, take your right foot and put your heel on your knee. So if that makes your knee feel uncomfortable, anything weird, don't worry about that at all. You can just keep your legs collapsed. And then you can take your hand and gently press on your hips. Kind of just open up your spine and your hips here. And just see, that may not do anything for you. It might feel really good, might not. It'll just sink in here. This nice, gentle twist. And then release your foot to the mat, coming back to center. And then allow your feet to fall over to your left. And maybe let your left heel come over and hook over your right foot. And if it feels good, you can kind of push into your spine. It's almost like you're grabbing your hip bone and pressing it away from you. Might feel good. It's always okay to kind of touch and adjust and massage your own body, especially in yoga. It can be really, really helpful, actually. So don't be afraid to do that. And slowly come back to center, planting your feet. And then we'll take a happy baby. So reach on up, you can grab peace fingers to toes, or you can grab the outside edge of your foot, and then sink your hips down as your feet shine towards the ceiling. So your feet can collapse, but to get the full expression, full benefits of this posture, you're reaching those feet towards the sky, pulling those knees into your kind of shoulder region. And then also see if you can send your tailbone down and towards the mat, and that will really intensify the stretch here. And you can take some gentle rocks side to side. And take any other little micro stretch, anything that might feel good to you. And then coming with your knees over your chest, wrap your arms all the way around your knees and come into the tightest little ball you can. Squeeze every single muscle in your body, your toes, your forehead, scrunch your face, squeeze your fingers into your elbows and your legs, squeeze your core, your glutes, your back, everything. Hold, squeeze, 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 and release. Totally unfold like a flower blooming in the springtime. Open up and relax into your Shavasana. So take a second to find the right positioning for you. Let your heart fall open and wide, your palms face the sky. Let your toes fall towards either corner of your mat. No longer force or control your breath, just let it rise and fall naturally. We'll stay here for 2 minutes. Try not to let your mind wander. If it does, just let those thoughts dissolve and come back to a clear and open mind that is calm and still and peaceful, just like your body. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. And then draw your feet in towards your bottom and start to rock your knees gently from side to side until you roll all the way over onto either side. And slowly start to push your way all the way up into the fetal position. Not into a fetal position, into a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Coming back to that breath that guided you all throughout class. Inhale your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale your hands down in front of heart center. Thank you for allowing me to lead your practice today, even through the technological difficulties and a sweet baby waking up from his nap. I appreciate your time and your energy, and I'm honored to have led you through this practice. Namaste.